As I walked through the remnants of this fort, I tried to imagine what the soldiers were feeling during the series of two battles that occurred here at Fort Fisher during the Civil War. Were they excited? Were they scared? What kind of emotions were going through their heads? Fort Fisher and the surrounding Wilmington area was a very important place during the Civil War, due to the city's proximity to a seaport. Near the end of the Civil War, Wilmington was the only major seaport open to the Confederate blockade runners. Fort Fisher was built to protect the mouth of the Cape Fear River from the Union soldiers. The construction of Fort Fisher began in the spring of 1861. It took 3 years and a string of different commanders to complete the fort. General William Lamb was responsible for overseeing the fortification and completion of the fort in July of 1863, which included a series of earthen batteries forming the fort's land face and mile-long sea face, which is also known as the Mound Battery. The Mound Battery is the tallest part of the fort. This 40-foot high earthen battery was constructed with the help of a steam engine to haul the sand to the top of this giant mound. The Mound Battery, because of its height, became the fort's most notable landmark, and General Lamb decided it would be a perfect place to install lights in order to signal the incoming blockade runners. The first of the two battles is known as the Christmas Battle, because it began on Christmas Eve in 1864 and ended 5 days later when the Union forces were unable to capture Fort Fisher. Of course, the Union did not want to give up. Before the second attack, the Assistant Secretary of the Navy, Gustavus V. Fox, stated, "The country will not forgive us for another failure at Wilmington." The second battle began in the early morning hours of January 13, 1865, and ended a few days later on January 16th. It was named Terry's Expedition after the commander of the Union forces, Major General Alfred Terry, who replaced General Benjamin Butler, who had disobeyed Ulysses S. Grant's commands in the earlier battle. At the end of the second battle, on the afternoon of January 16, 1865, Federal Secretary of War Edwin M. Stanton arrived unexpectedly at Fort Fisher. General Terry of the Union forces presented Mr. Stanton with the Fort Fisher garrison flag. Mr. Stanton states, "The Secretary of War has the honor to acknowledge the receipt of the flag of Fort Fisher, and in the name of the President congratulates you and the gallant officers and soldiers, sailors, and marines of your commands, and tenders you thanks for the valor and skill displayed in your respective parts of the great achievement in the operations against Fort Fisher and in its assault and capture. The combined operations of the squadron and land forces of your commands deserve and will receive the thanks of the nation, and will be held in admiration throughout the world as proof of the naval and military prowess of the United States." The memories of the two battles of Fort Fisher deserve to be protected and preserved. In 2001, Fort Fisher was put on the Most Endangered Battlefields list, which is a list the Civil War Preservation Trust unveils annually, documenting 10 endangered battlefields in need of further preservation. This shows that people all over the country would like to see the memories of Fort Fisher be protected for future generations to learn about the valor and courage of thousands of men who risked and lost their lives to protect Wilmington.